Using Firebase Auth here in a React Native Expo router app. Currently I have iOS, Android and web. This is using the same code base. I know there are a couple of tutorials out there showcasing how you can set up a similar Auth setup, but I know that the SDKs are constantly changing and the way you log in changes all the time. So I thought maybe let me showcase a more outdated way using Expo router. You can let me know in the comments section if you can do the setup better or you have a different way of setting it up. So maybe we can start off by just registering a new user, and then from there we can see how we can actually use this setup. This won't be like a full-on tutorial, but it'll be more of like a walkthrough on how you can have a similar setup for yourself. Let's just give it a password. I'm just gonna create this user. So it'll take me to the home setup. Then in iOS I can almost just log in with the same user, and we can see that it logs me in. And then this is Android. I'll just log in the same user. So everything is working nicely. So I'll just showcase the code right now. So this is how the code looks up. So the first thing which I have here is the Firebase. First thing I have here is the Firebase folder which I've created, and then this houses the firebase.tsx. So this is the main area whereby I differentiate between the Firebase web and the Firebase local or React Native Firebase. So since this is a Expo app, there are some setups which have to be done for you to be able to use the React Native Firebase. For example, the app itself must be a dev client. If you don't know much about dev clients, I'll put a link in the description. Basically, it allows you to use native code because what's happening here is that this app will bundle some native code if you want to use the React Native Firebase. But then when it comes to web, for web, we are using Firebase Auth. That's more of like a web Firebase setup. The reason why we're not using React Native Firebase for web is that it is partially supported. It is not fully supported. So I found that for me, it's best that I just use the Firebase Auth. I'll just showcase now the platforms. This is coming from React Native Firebase. And then when you go to authentication, you'll see that Auth is partially supported when it comes to this library. So it might be handy to just use the web JS as a fallback or as your main web setup. So for web, I'm just using the Firebase config, and then I'm doing something different here, but I'll just initialize the Firebase web using the Firebase config. But then if we're using if it's not web, then I'll just initialize it using the React Native Firebase /app. That's all that's happening here. Another thing which is happening here is that you'll notice that for Auth, I'm using the React Native Firebase Auth, and then we just spoke about this one. Yeah, so then I'll just export everything. So at least I know all my logic for Firebase is happening in this file. then I can literally just go to my app, and then in my index.tsx, I simply just import the auth exports that I have on that Firebase app, Firebase file, and then I can just have like the sign up, which will check again the platform. If it's web, it will use the web auth, and then if it's not web, it will just use the normal React Native Firebase setup. That's all that's happening there. Similar to sign in, similar thing is going to happen whereby you're going to use the web auth. Alternatively, just use the auth from React Native Firebase. Then you can log into the app. The layout itself has some platform specific setup as well, mainly with the on state change, because for native platforms we're gonna use the import, and then for web using that get web auth, which is an import which I've done separately for web using the Firebase auth library. And then since we're using Expo router, based on whether you've been authenticated, I'll push you to home, or otherwise you're gonna remain in the root folder. Yeah, that's all. I just wanted to show you guys this, and so you guys can have a look and see my setup, and you can hopefully use it on your project. I do have the Firebase Google services JSON file. This is I downloaded from my Firebase Firebase dashboard, and I've placed them in the root directory. And then in my package.json, I did point to, in my app.json, I did point to the root setup, so /root, so that I can get the Google services files. And yeah, that's it. Hope you enjoyed this quick Firebase walkthrough. Cool. See you on the next one. Cheers, y'all.